Now, oil prices. This is something that has been, not good for the economy lately. Now, that might be counterintuitive, but obviously, when oil prices fell from 80 down to about maybe $70 a barrel, it helped the economy. It gave consumers and businesses more money to spend on other things. And that's a net help for everyone. But the problem is, once you go below a level that companies can make money, can earn money, like when you go to 60 and 40 and below, you start to imperil the companies. And what do? How do they react? Well, they cut their spending, they cut labor, they fire a bunch of people, they stop looking for new oil, they cut their dividends. They're doing anything they can to survive if they're losing money. So the first part of the oil price dropping is very beneficial, until you get down to about 70. After that, it becomes kind of not so beneficial, and once you get below 40, everybody loses money. Every energy company loses money, unless they have a refining operation, because refiners really just buy oil and sell oil at a higher price. They don't really care about the price as long as they have a little margin. So when you look at what oil companies have done, they've cut back so dramatically that it's affected the rest of the economy. And that's really the problem I see with oil. The good news is we are now much better off here than we were in January. We hit a bottom of $26 a barrel. Today we're at about 46. Well, it's almost double. Right now, we're way better off than where we started the year. It won't be such a drag on corporate earnings. It won't be such a drag on CPI, inflation. It will start to make all of those economic numbers look better, as long as we can maintain 50. In fact, the equilibrium is probably somewhere between 60 and 70. So hopefully we continue to slowly increase up to then. But then not go much higher, because then it would be a tax on the economy, and we don't want that. Here's one of my favorite charts. It shows clearly why the price of oil drops so much. I have a line that's the supply of oil worldwide and the demand for oil worldwide. And the red line is the supply. The blue line is the demand. And you can see here that there is a gap currently of about 1.7 million barrels per day. But the gap has been quite a bit wider. In fact, there was some months where it was 3 to 4 million wider. And the key here is you generally don't get a drop in the supply of oil. And that red line is generally moving up the whole time. But in the last year, or really about 9-10 months, it's rolled over. The supply has dropped. And the supply has dropped down to about the level of demand. Now, I know we're 1.7 million apart, but this is through May. That's the latest numbers we have. June, the demand for oil goes up significantly, usually by 2 million barrels per day or more. And why does demand for oil go up in June? Anybody know?
Travel revenue.
Right? It's the summer travel season, vacation season. So you have the months of June, July, and August, you see a higher demand for oil in total. And if you look at all the other Junes, this line that goes from here to here, that's June. That was an increase of over 4 million barrels per day in 1 month. We're about to get something like that. Now, it might not be 4 million. It might only be 3. But in any case, we're going to finally get back to equilibrium on supply, even if it's for 1 month. And if you study this chart closely, you'll see that demand for oil, that blue line, drops every March, April, May. Because heating oil drops down to virtually nothing. But then it goes back up in June, July, August, when we did the summer driving season. So in past years, I got quite a few years on here, when we finally get to the driving season, June, July, August, right here, we come back to equilibrium with supply. But last year, supply had moved up so much that when we hit that, we didn't really get back to equilibrium. We got close, we didn't get there. This year, I think we will, only because supply has rolled over. So finally, we're getting back in balance between oil supply and oil demand. We're making great inroads. That's much better than we started the year at. That's kind of the theme, we're coming to. That make sense?